Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about every Venom and Carnage Omnibus release so far. I'm also going to give some recommendations on other material related to Venom and Carnage that has not been collected in Omnibus form yet. And forewarning, a lot of these Omnis are out of print and they are very expensive and hard to find right now. So hopefully there's reprints coming out of these Omnis we're going to be talking about. But before we begin, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. First up on this list is Spider-Man vs. Venom. So this is the origin of Venom, and it goes all the way up to the introduction of Carnage and the Maximum Carnage miniseries. This is an outstanding and fantastic omnibus for new Venom fans or even old Venom fans because it collects all of his early appearances in one big massive omnibus. So when this omnibus was new, it was $125 retail. You're more likely going to spend about $200, $250 right now if you want to find a copy. So hopefully they come back with another print of this. They are coming out with reprints of some of the main Venom Omnibus, but I really wish they would just reprint this one as well. Next up on our list is the Venom Omnibus, retitled Venom Bus, Volume 1. This omnibus picks up after the events of Maximum Carnage, which were in Volume 1, and we see Venom become more of an anti-hero in the Lethal Protector series. In this omnibus, we see Venom start to interact with more and more characters in the larger Marvel Comics universe, and we're introduced to more symbiotes like Screech and everyone from the Lethal Protector miniseries. Towards the end of this omnibus, we see another showdown between Venom and Carnage and Venom and Carnage Unleashed. This omnibus, like the one we just talked about, retails for $125, but it's still in stock and it just got a second print, so you could probably find it for a good discount. Next on our list is the Venom Bus Volume 2. This is around the time that Venom becomes a little bit more of a goofy character, a little bit more keen to Deadpool than he is a Spider-Man villain. This is also around the time that the Clone Saga was wrapping up in the major Spider-Man titles, so we see a lot of interaction with Ben Reilly and Peter Parker dealing with the clone stuff. If you're a fan of Wolverine, there's a really cool crossover with Wolverine in this, but ultimately this is more of just a hit and miss kind of omnibus. There's a lot of highlights that are good, but there's plenty of stuff that just feels like filler, to be honest. But the completist in you will definitely need this because it has the Planet of the Symbiote crossover, which in my opinion was one of the more fun crossovers of the 90s. This omnibus does retail for $125 and it's technically still in print, but this is kind of those aging ones where I bet sooner than later we're going to see it go out of print. So get it while you still can, especially just if you want to see him cross over with Wolverine and the Planet of the Symbiote saga. Next up on our list is Venom Bus Volume 3. I actually have the direct market version of it with a Scotty Young cover. This omnibus sees Venom start transitioning into the 2000s where stories were getting a little bit more grounded and a little bit darker. This has some major turning points for Eddie Brock and Venom where we see Eddie Brock lose the suit and Eddie Brock start to die from cancer because he had that suit on for too long. This is a great omnibus. It's still in print. It retails for $125. So next up on our list is the Carnage Omnibus. So this is a single standalone omnibus featuring Carnage. It has a lot of the stories from the 2000s and up, including the entire 2015 run by Jerry Conway, of Spider-Man writing fame. There is some double dipping in this omnibus because the Venom vs. Carnage collection that's inside Omnibus Volume 3 is also collected in here. But that's only a 4-issue series, so that's not too much of a double dip. So unfortunately, what we don't get to see in this omnibus is when Carnage dies in the new Avengers run. And we actually are missing a lot of Carnage miniseries between the Venom Volume 3 omnibus and this one. Ultimately though, the theme of this omnibus is pretty consistent, so I can see why they chose these stories to collect together. And this is a great primer for Absolute Carnage. This omnibus retailed for $125, but it's been out of print for a while, so you're going to be spending closer to $150, almost $200 on a copy of this. And the last omnibus we have on our list is the Absolute Carnage Omnibus. So this spins out of the Donny Cates run of Venom. This omnibus collects the main series, all the tie-ins from Venom, and every other Marvel Comics series that had an interaction with the Absolute Carnage event. This omnibus did retail for only $100, which is a great price for an event omnibus. The only caveat is Marvel Omnibus usually go out of print very quickly, so these event omnibus, when they come out, get them when you can, because they'll probably double in price within 2 months of their release date. My only issue with this omnibus is its mapping, and I'll leave a link above just so you guys can check that out if you're interested in why I don't really like the mapping on this omnibus. So that's all of the Carnage and Venom Omnibus released so far. There are some holes and a lot of material that's not collected yet, and I want to give some recommendations just to help fill in the main story a little bit. The first suggestion I have is the Carnage Classic trade paperback. So this is one of those complete collection kind of paperbacks where it contains almost everything you need of a certain character all in one volume. The reason why I include this is because everything that feels like it's missing between Venom Bus Volume 3 and the Carnage Omnibus is collected in here. It has all of the stories, like the interaction that Carnage has with the Silver Surfer. There's appearances from Amazing Spider-Man that aren't collected in these omnibus that have Carnage in it. But it does double dip to a lot of the things that are collected in the Venom Omnibus already. So if you're just looking for the missing chapters, this is probably a more inexpensive way to find the missing chapters. My next recommendation is going to be the complete Rick Remender and Colin Bunn trade paperback set for Venom. This is the run where Flash Thompson takes over the Venom symbiote and becomes Agent Venom. Definitely one of the coolest runs, and these 3 trade paperbacks collect the entire run. My next recommendation is going to be the Donny Cates Volume 1 and 2 of Venom, the deluxe editions. This has everything that leads up to Absolute Carnage. Well, there you have it, guys. All the Venom Omnibus released so far with some suggestions. I can't wait to see what the next one's going to be. I hope they collect that Rick Remender and Colin Bunn series. And I really hope that they start reprinting these because these are excellent omnibus to have. I want to thank you guys again for watching. Please do make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And with that said, time to jump off the omnibus.